Ich bin in einem Industriegebiet, musste auch erstmal fragen, wo Garbaruk überhaupt ist, denn ich bin heute bei Garbaruk. Es steht nirgends dran, es war recht schwierig zu finden, also sehr unscheinbares Gebäude, aber dahinter verbirgt sich, wie ich meine, eine sehr geniale ja, Firma und die werden wir heute besuchen. Gehen wir mal rein. Oh, hi.
Hi, good to finally have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm Vlad, I'm one of the owners of Garbaruk, and I'm welcoming Nico here today to show our production and talk about what we do. Do you want to go straight into it?
Yeah, sure. It's going to be loud, isn't it?
Yes.
CNC machines.
It's quite long. We actually use these skateboards to get around quicker. So if you feel like it, you can try joining me. And then you just need to do the waves to keep the speed.
Hold on.
Oh. Directly to the manufacturing hall.
Oh wow. How many machines do you have here?
A couple dozen, more than 20, less than 30.
And is it only bike parts you produce? Or
yes,
is it...
that's the only thing we do, our own bike parts. So and some parts for some other small brands.
Okay, but there's no bigger company over Garbaruk?
No, we're family owned. The business was originally started by my father and his brother, and then many years ago I also joined it.
Okay, when was that?
Depends on when you want to start counting. There was some kind of business going on in late 2000s in Ukraine as a garage carbon workshop, repairing frames, doing some custom parts like handlebars and stems and things like that. But this business, the drivetrain business that you know, it started around 2014 when first narrow-wide chainrings and 1X drivetrains were coming into the world. Say hi to the camera.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So this is our warehouse / workshop where we assemble the parts here. So all your cassettes, pulley wheels, everything you see is assembled here by our guys.
It's like it's just looking at it. For you, it's just everyday business, but for me, it's like wow. I saw that at Bespoke, your exposition, but this is a lot better.
Yeah, having all that quickly available is quite a challenge.
Yeah.
And this is our workshop where we basically test things, and if we have any kind of warranty claim or something like that, we test it here. We also assemble our own bikes and do our own work here as well.
It's pretty small. I mean, for like such a big company, a lot of machines there, and then you have a workshop in just a corner. Even though it's a better workshop than I have. I work in my garage.
we mostly do the production here. We don't really need too many bikes. This is basically for mostly personal use here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is what I saw at the Bespoke.
Yeah. This is one of our new test drivetrain stand, which we will be supplying to shops, I think.
I reconnected the SRAM trigger to the axis derailleur you had there. It wasn't working. In the morning I reconnected it, so you have to thank me.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I was surprised by it working that well. I mean, usually I write like only SRAM or only Shimano components or cassettes, And yeah, I knew about Garbaruk cassettes, that they are high quality, and I tested, and it was just like any other cassettes.
Well, the cassettes you saw at Bespoke were also the Gen 2.0 cassettes, as we called them.
For the transmission.
Yes, this was a big step forward from us, where we worked really hard on our existing cassettes, and we started with basically fixing one or two minor issues that we had with existing models. But then, one thing leads to another, to another, to another, and it ended up being a complete rework of the entire cassette, and everything is brand new there. And it, in our eyes, works so much better that we even had to give it a different name. And
is it like, does it mount like the same way any other cassette mounts?
Yeah, you install it the same way as any other cassette. Depends, of course, on the freehub type as well, because we also do, Shimano HD freehub cassettes, microspline cassettes, XD cassettes.
Could you write the microspline cassette with an axis derailleur? Like, does it work? Or is it different, like a Shimano chain?
Okay, I will take a random cassette from here to explain. So today the issue with mixing parts, and why we generally don't recommend doing it, is because there is a certain distance in between each sprocket in the cassette, and it should be the same as the jump the derailleur makes when you shift gear. And between different manufacturers and drivetrains, this jump is not exactly the same. So, for example, in Shimano MTB and SRAM MTB, it's a bit different. So essentially, no matter how hard you try to tune the indexing, after a few gear changes, your derailleur is going to be like either really lagging behind or being really forward. So essentially, not really possible to tune it perfectly. We know some people mix and ride, but we don't recommend it. Customers have too many problems with it. We don't want to be responsible for it.
Yeah. Did you have any patterns you couldn't, like, SRAM has its patterns, Shimano, they have theirs, where you had to work around with your cassette, or was it just straightforward designing it and then?
With a couple things, yes, but generally we feel like the cassette is sufficiently different, and I think they feel the same way.
Yeah, they would have suited you already.
Yes, they would have suited us already.
About the spacing, is it going to be different with your derailleur? That's going to come out soon,
Yes, we're also working on our own derailleur, and since it's electronic and it's going to be programmable, what we want to do is make it compatible with basically any cassette on the market, because like we just talked about the steps the derailleur makes, well, in case of an electronic shifting, you can really very easily program the steps through the app, and so you can have it compatible with 9-speed cassettes if you want, or 13-speed, or no matter what's the manufacturer. It's essentially a universal derailleur.
So it's basically you can use the app or whatever you will have. Well, it's probably going to be an app. And then you can fine-tune each gear itself?
Yes.
So with your derailleur, you would actually only need one cassette of yours. Doesn't matter which one.
Yes. Yes, or you could essentially use any cassette from our offer.
You're going to sell so many of those. I'm pretty sure about that. I mean, I had a look at it at Bespoke, the prototype, and there were pictures circling around the internet already. Believe me, from what I know, it's going to be, there are probably patterns you have to take care of.
Yes, some things we actually need to change, and what you saw in the prototype is not how it's going to look in the final version, because for electronic shifting there are a lot of patterns to work around.
And do you have already some sort of release date for that, or is it just right now it's a non-writable prototype, isn't it?
Well, yes, the one you saw is not writable. We're gonna have writable prototypes very early next year, so think January, and we're gonna start writing them and give it to our test riders, and then we will see if there are any issues with it or not. It's a fresh design. We might have to change 2 or 3 things, or we might have to change 20 things, and basically the final release date kind of depends on that.
Yeah, I suppose it's going to be late next year then, if the testing goes well.
Realistically it's next year, but probably late next year.
Yeah, and how many test riders do you have?
We have a few here, but we work very closely with them. They're close to us. They can come the next day, so the development process is quite quick, I think.
Are there any mountains here to ride? I mean, I haven't seen any.
Well, not exactly here, but there are some good mountains just half an hour from here.
Okay.
And if you're willing to drive an hour or a bit more than an hour, you could probably count around 10 bike parks with proper trails and lifts and everything. Oh. So we are basically at the south of Poland, and if we just go down on the map a little bit more, there's going to be the mountains.
And the Czech Republic, isn't it?
Yes.
I heard that.
Yes, even going to the Czech Republic is quite close from here.
Yeah.
So the mountain bike infrastructure and scene is very well developed here in the south of Poland.
Oh, so cool. Let's just have a look at other stuff.
This looks good enough.
It's a new one, isn't it?
Yes, it's for the power meter system.
Which one?
For the SRAM power meters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they now come with like a thread mount system where you screw the chainring on the power meter.
Oh, okay. I thought I didn't recognize you.
Yeah, this is the mounting. See, no so direct mount, no bolts. It goes directly on the power meter.
And how do you get it off then?
And SRAM makes a special tool for properly like screwing it and removing it.
But the tool goes here, right?
Yeah, basically on the teeth. I think it's like a chain whip sort of thing, you know.
Oh, okay.
Like this.
Now it looks rideable. People are going to notice the tires.
People will notice the tires. We should talk about that. This is a bike that's used for testing parts here, so obviously no one rides enduro with these.
Well, if you know how to ride, you can probably ride these tires way faster than
actually. At some point in life, I was riding enduro on a different bike, and I had a Schwalbe tire that was very light. Looked basically like this with tiny knobs in the middle and big knobs on the side. Okay. And it rolled really nice, and then you still had some kind of...
Was it a rock razor or something?
I think that was the rock razor, yeah. It was pretty fun, except in the mud, where I had to follow guys and basically keep sliding until I find some sort of like support for my wheel, because no way I'm turning without the support. Okay, so what we decided to do is to take one chainring from our stock and walk through the manufacturing and see every step of it coming into existence. This is one of our newest models for SRAM power meters, and we're gonna see how it's made. So the story of the chainring starts here with the raw aluminium sheet, which we then use the water jet cutting machine to cut the large sheet into these smaller squares. And then those squares go into the milling machine. Pretty heavy, huh?
How much waste do you have when you manufacture it for like, it's like...
Well, it's a simple calculation. It starts with roughly 1 kilogram of aluminium, and then we have 100 grams of chainring.
So it's 90%.
So 90% goes to waste, which we then, of course, sell, and it gets recycled into a new sheet.
Coca-Cola cans.
Yeah.
How much does this weigh? About like
an entire sheet?
Yeah.
Really depends on the thickness. The thinnest ones, the 4mm ones, can be 50 kilos, and then if it's a 15mm sheet, it could be 200 kilos.
Oh, okay. Not gonna move it with your hands.
Yeah, no. We use forklifts.
Where do you get these from?
From a distributor in Poland, and they buy it from different places.
Okay.
But we have our list of manufacturers of aluminium that we like and the ones we don't like. And
okay. Yeah. Not gonna ask who are the ones you don't like.
Yeah. These machines make almost everything we do, but each machine is working on different parts.
Is it too much, or is it okay?
No, this is okay. This is okay. This is what I'm saying. We can record like that. So once we have the raw chainring out of the machine, they come to our quality control together with other chainrings from today's batch, and then every single part gets checked. We check if it fits properly. We check the teeth height and thickness to make sure that it's going to work well with the chain, and then we have an overall look to also see if the design is right and everything. And every single part needs to come through here before it can go.
So all the chainrings over there went through here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lot of checking for one person.
Holy cow.
Закінчили, дякую. That was Ukrainian.
She's Ukrainian.
Yeah, but of course, It's a mixed language environment. So once the chainring passes quality control, it arrives here to anodizing, where, as you can see, we have some parts waiting to get their final color, which can be, you know, any of our 8 colors, depending on what the customers buy. So this is the silver one we took from the warehouse, but it might end up looking something like this bright green.
Okay.
Okay, so we have stopped by here at our crankset testing rig to talk a little bit about one of the ways we test our cranksets and what interesting conclusions we can have. So this is the machine we built ourselves to do the fatigue testing of the cranksets. What we have here is a machine that is using air pressure and simulating a load on the pedal of 180 kilograms on one pedal. And to pass the testing, the crankset needs to survive 100,000 cycles. So the noise you see on, off, that needs to happen 100,000 times, and we have counters there that tell us exactly how many cycles it's been.
3,760.
Yeah, 3,700 right now. This is just one of the
So this one takes like, I don't know how many days?
It takes a couple days, yes. So it runs non-stop and everyone gets used to this clicking noise. What is also interesting about this machine is it's not configured for this right now, but with some tools that we have here, we can also measure the deflection of the crankset at certain loads.
Okay.
So what that basically gives us is stiffness. For example, we do a 50 kilo load, we see a 2 millimeter deflection, that is stiffness. 1 millimeter per 25 kilos.
Yeah.
And we have done a lot of testing with other cranksets from different manufacturers, and that's how we know our cranksets provide the best balance of stiffness and weight. Because with this one, we are not the lightest in the world, but the stiffness is much, much larger than especially carbon cranksets. Carbon cranksets, as we see in our testing, really suffer from being quite bendy and stealing your energy when you pedal.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought carbon was always very stiff.
Carbon can be made stiff, but the problem is the layup and the fact that it is a bit directional, if you know what I mean. So for example, if you make a carbon spoke and it only needs to stretch like this, then it's going to be really stiff. But in the crankset, we press down and to the side at the same time, and so that's quite difficult to achieve with carbon.
How many versions of cranks did you have before the first that was actually working?
The first ones were actually working because we started with heavy prototypes, and so those could pass easily. But the problem was cutting down weight, but still passing the safety and the fatigue testing. So we had quite a few prototypes that broke down. Once we go and sit down to chat and talk a little bit more about the cranksets, I will also show you the broken prototype.
Do you have any rule you have to, or any I don't know, testing you have to do outside of your company? Because in Germany we have the EFBA testing. Everyone has to go through to sell their stuff.
This is basically the ISO test that we did ourselves instead of having to outsource it to someone who has the machine. So we just made it here for quicker testing and feedback that we can do.
But you don't have to sort of make it official?
No.
That's
but we know it passes the ISO test, and that is good enough. Plus extensive rider testing that's been done over the years with people, landing huge jumps on these lightweight cranksets and things like that. Yeah, so we are here in the quiet place where you can't hear the manufacturing to just talk a little bit about everything we make in a bit more detail. So you have probably seen these at Bespoke.
Yes.
These are our cranks that we do. And the main interesting thing about them is they're made from aluminium. They're hollow inside. They're made from 2 separate parts that are bonded together with special glue, and then they go into the high temperature environment to make sure they really stick forever. And what that allows us to do, and the benefits for the customer are the low weight of the entire system. So the entire crankset without a chainring is 400 grams, which is lighter than your average carbon crankset. You obviously even lighter options exist, But then the second important thing is the stiffness. So as we talked about it in our testing machine, we feel like stiffness is quite important in the crankset as well. And from our testing, a lot of the very light carbon cranksets do not have enough of the stiffness. So there is sometimes up to 30% difference thanks to the aluminium and the shape. And also, of course, like the other advantages are the looks. How do you personally like it?
It looks a lot better in real life than it does in pictures.
Yeah, pictures don't really do it justice.
No, it's wow.
We can anodize it in our 8 colors, and the other thing is durability. It's aluminium. It will never break down. You're never gonna have the pedal insert issues that a lot of carbon cranks sometimes have.
Yeah.
So you can keep riding it for years.
Do you have crank boots for that, or?
There is a German company that does crank boots for our cranksets. Actually, I think they're called Symbiotic, right? You may have seen them at Bespoke as well.
I saw them, I didn't really notice.
We personally like this look and don't want to put a crank boot on it, but obviously it's a practical thing to do, and I think soon in our shop we will feature the crank boots.
It's probably 3D printed crank boot. Have you ever thought about doing cranks like more budget and not gluing it together? I suppose that having an entire crank which is not hollow would be cheaper to produce, and then you could have 2 options.
Yes, we have thought about that, but the problem I see is you have a million options for an aluminium crank that's not hollow. If you're willing to go with a heavier weight where the price is lower, there are so many options that it would be quite difficult to stand out. The first thing that comes to mind is hope. Colorful, good quality cranksets that last and are durable. Not that light, but people now know them and love them. What we will be doing though is a much lighter version of this one.
Okay, but that's gonna be. Is this Enduro crank or is it like
the particular crank arm you're holding is made for gravel, but the light mountain bike crank arm will look very, very similar. It's a slight shape difference for Q factor, and
so you take off some more material to make it lighter then.
Yeah.
Do you know how much lighter it will be approximately?
We want the whole set to be 330 grams.
Oh wow!
At the same stiffness that this crankset is, at 400 grams.
And what are the drawbacks then? If it's the same stiffness and even lighter, why should I get this one?
First of all, the price might be different on the lighter one.
True.
Also, the lighter one will have a slightly different look. For example, this beautiful self-extractor knot that you can customize and have in different colors.
Yeah, so
it's
over here
you can have a couple of these to show.
It's
that's a really nice clean look with some subtle accents that you can have in different colors. Well, the lighter system will have to use a slightly different version, so you will not have the self-extractor and you will not have the colors for that. So really depends on what you're looking for. We will keep making this one too.
Well, I'm looking for a lot of weight loss on my bikes. I mean, I don't really care about that, but if I have the option and I had to choose between the lighter one and the heavier one, I would always go for the lighter one, even if it's more expensive, just to shed some weight. Even though it doesn't really matter, I'm very heavy at 93 kilos, and it doesn't matter if my bike weighs 15 or 14 kilos. But I don't know, just for my,
Yeah, we all have that in us. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Then it gets a lot more expensive than.
Speaking about lightweight in general, when we started the company, the motto was lightweight bike components. A while ago, it was actually changed to high performance bike components because we are a little bit walking away from trying to make the lightest thing in the world as the highest priority. What we want to do is, performance parts that are durable, and performance. Lightweight does not always equal better performance.
Okay.
You can make some extremely lightweight parts that will just not be stiff enough and will be giving you, losses on power transfer and things like that. So a high performance part is the one that has, the balance of weight, durability, stiffness, and all those things figured out.
Okay. Have you ever thought about going into the carbon business too?
We have thought about it, and we actually have quite a bit of experience with carbon. So not many people will know, but Garbaruk started as a carbon workshop in 2000s in Ukraine, a little garage company in Ukraine where we fixed carbon frames after crashes, where we made quite a few custom frames of our own, handlebars and seat posts and things like that, which were all done by us, in-house back then. But right now we have no plans to do anything out of carbon, and we only do for the parts that we make, so the cranksets, the chainrings and things like that, carbon is not needed there. We feel like for cranksets, for example, it is not the most optimal material.
Okay. I keep thinking, where does the name Garbaruk come from?
Oh, that's pretty simple, actually. That's my last name.
Yeah,
my father's last name.
I actually knew it, but I wanted to confirm it because it sounded so like a made-up company name. I couldn't believe it was just a last name. All the companies that have, Hope, or every company I've visited, they have some cool name. I mean, Garbaruk is a cool name too, but I thought it was just, you thought about a name and it meant something in Ukrainian or Polish or whatnot.
No, that's just the same last name as, Lamborghini or Porsche or...
So you didn't have a hard time thinking about the
Benz
company names.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I feel like that, in a way, adds another layer of responsibility to the things you do as well. It's somehow your name, your personal name is attached to the things you do.
Yeah, I heard that. I went to Stanton Bikes, and Dan Stanton, same thing. He said, it's my name that's on the frame, so it needs to be a good one, Oh, cool.
Yeah, what we forgot to do is look at the inside of the crank, so just real quick, returning to that. You can have a look and we can try to show to the camera. I hope everyone can see. It's, as you can see, the walls here are quite thin, and the entire space is quite empty inside, and that's how we achieve the weight. But if you look here closer to the pedals, for example, look how much material you have there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it doesn't rip out.
Yeah, this is actually one of the early prototypes that did not pass the fatigue test.
Yeah, it kind of broke in the middle.
No, I mean, we cut it in half as well.
I know.
Too, yeah.
If you have to explain a joke, it's not funny anymore.
Oh my god, I missed the joke. A pretty simple one.
Maybe it wasn't a good one to start with.
We will leave that to the viewers.
We can still re-glue it and sell it as almost new. Only used a couple of times on eBay.
We actually released a video quite recently of Chinese copies of these exact cranksets. Yeah, have you seen it?
I didn't see the video, but it's a lot. They copy a lot of companies. I've seen so many parts being copied and companies responding to it with a video. Problem is, people, they want to buy it cheaper, and they think, it's the same name, so it's gonna be the one they produced there, and the company just sells it cheaper to Aliexpress, for example, or whatnot.
Yeah, we even had some rumors of our manufacturing being in China because of the things being sold on Aliexpress.
Not good.
I was quite shocked. The crankset looked exactly the same as ours.
Well, they bought one of yours probably.
The weight was very similar, which is the next thing that shocked me, because for the price they were asking, which was probably 30% of what we charge, it was hollow. But the glue,
I feel like they use just, you know, your regular glue that you can buy in a store.
Mm-hmm.
We recorded a video where I put on motorcycle boots and I tried to, you know, smash on the pedals and see if I will be able to break the crankset. It actually broke when I just rested my foot on the pedal. It started cracking just from that.
Holy cow. I mean,
in a way that's actually safer because no one will get to ride it. The first push of the leg and it breaks, so...
Well, it's probably not going to happen with every rider. For example, take a light rider. But then again, going downhill and then breaking cranks off, that's actually one of the things I'm very afraid of cranks breaking, because I don't know, you drop down some drop, 3 meters, 2 meters, it doesn't really matter, 1 meter, and then your crank breaks and you just hit your foot.
So, you know, these cranksets, we made them 3.5 years ago already. And it was also a big responsibility for us to really test them properly, because the level of danger is much higher. Let's say something happens to your cassette or your chainrings, even if it breaks, you know, you're still riding, you can safely stop and have a look. But with cranksets, the level of responsibility is much higher. That's why we have the machine. That's why we've done the testing. And actually, I'm quite happy and proud to say, knock on the wood, that over the 3.5 years and all the cranksets we sold, not a single one was broken in any way.
Do you know by any chance how many cranksets you've sold so far?
I can give you, you know, a rough number. It's going to be a couple to a few thousand.
Okay.
Not a single case of like a crankset failure or anything like that. That's what makes me feel quite good about them and our testing protocols, because it's not only the machine, it's also the riders that we work with. Present them to the camera.
So I mean, it just looks so good with the bigger spokes. I mean, I haven't seen alloy spokes yet. I knew about the other company, but it looks so much better than normal spokes.
Yeah, looks are one of the reasons we did it, but not the main one.
Yeah, obviously.
Although it is a nice further step in the freedom of, you know, customization of your bike that we try to offer. So, you know, with that, if we at this point basically make almost an entire drivetrain on the bike that comes in 8 colors, and you can pick, you know, the color of each component. And then imagine adding this as another layer of options.
And the color, no, it's
this is the orange.
This one, and the color matches, which is incredible. So you can have like the same anodizing color on all of your components that you produce. Obviously,
there's obviously always a little bit of variance in anodizing.
Yeah, but
I can even see a little bit here. But what we try to do when people buy directly from us and they make a big order for the entire drivetrain, for example, then we actually have a look and make sure that the colors match. And then, for example, if your entire order is gold and then these pulleys are of a different shade of gold, then what we do is we quickly run and make a new set for you, just so we make sure everything matches.
Well, I cannot see any difference.
Yeah, especially looking from at least a small amount of distance.
It's probably around here. Holy cow, so cool. Looks matter too, but what about the spokes? Are they any different than normal spokes, like steel spokes, for example?
Yes, they are quite different. Obviously, they are made from a different material. They are made from aluminium, and that gives us a certain advantage over steel spokes. The main advantage is the stiffness again. So going back to the high performance topic and the balance of weight and stiffness, what we see is in really lightweight wheels, they are nice. You know, you can really feel the lightweight of the wheels, but stiffness is just as important for wheel performance. And those super light builds, they don't have enough of the stiffness. And the alloy spokes are stiffer and lighter than steel spokes. So you can basically this spoke in the length for a typical 29-inch wheel, it's about 5.8 grams with the nipple head as part of the spoke. And the stiffness level of this spoke is the same as a steel spoke, that's a good steel spoke, that's 1.8 millimeters in thickness. But the steel spoke is going to be over 7 grams, sometimes even 8.
Okay.
So you have the stiffness of a thick steel spoke at a noticeably lower weight. That is the advantage. And this can be achieved by making the spoke out of a larger diameter.
Okay.
Since the material is lighter, you can make it thicker and maintain the same weight. The machining of it is quite difficult and quite pricey.
I was going to ask how it's fitted in the rim, but I can see it looks like a sapin.
Yeah, it looks like a regular nipple at this side of the spoke. Yes, and
but
the
it's
other side,
machined.
It's machined. Yes, it's one part.
Wow, I didn't know that actually. So you kind of tighten the spokes from inside of.
Yeah, I mean you have two options,
yeah.
right? From here, from below the rim, or here with the key.
Who's building the wheels? I mean, it's not a machine. Well, the machine. There's probably some machine that laces the wheel.
No, actually, at the scale that we're working right now with the wheels, we fully assemble them by hand from zero. We have a guy who works with us, who's a wheel builder with more than 10 years of experience, and he
does a very good job. Let me just. Nothing. There's no movement whatsoever. So cool. And it's pretty loud. Wow. Where do the rims come from?
Well, the rims are not made from us, and I will say openly we source them from China.
It's offset, isn't it?
But yes, they're offset. It gives a better angles. We have ridden these rims for many years ourselves before trying to do business with them, and we are quite happy.
Why the move to wheel sets too? Just to, I don't know, offer something more, or other than cassettes, chainrings, and cranks, for example?
Yes, that's essentially it. And like I said, we want to be the place for high performance parts, where you don't have to think too much. You want a high performance crankset, you go to us. You want high performance wheels, you can also go to us. So that is quite the main idea.
It's just so cool.
And since we could do it in a quite interesting and special way, we just did.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
So you do the hubs yourself too?
Yes, the hubs are also made by us here. And the hub is also a part of this wheel system that we're doing, and we have a number of interesting solutions here to make it better and have some advantages. I like to call it the no-nonsense hub in a sense, because some of the little details here are quite common sense and make it quite nice to own. So, for example, this end cap on the free hub side, to remove it, you just twist it. It's threaded,
which is cool. You don't need a tool.
Yes, but you mean this one wasn't threaded too much. You also have a key here, and then if you need to hold the axle, then this end cap you can just remove with a nice click, and you have a key here as well. Okay, so you can hold the axle and easily unthread the end caps.
But do you have to adjust the bearing plane?
No, you don't. That's the next step of the no-nonsense hub. You don't need to play with the preload adjustment. That's done thanks to the design of the hub and the precise manufacturing that we do. Okay, so once we get the free hub off, you can see the ratchet ring here. The bearing is hidden behind this part, and the same thing here inside the free hub body. Okay. And this is removable with a cassette tool. So quite simple, and many people should have that in their workshop. I can show the internals, the ring here, and the ring here works on a few springs that keep pushing it in the direction of the free hub.
Oh, yeah, I can see
so
that.
it's bouncing on the springs.
Wow, so cool. No nonsense.
Yeah. And again, the weight and the stiffness and the performance, we balanced everything. It's the rear hub is around 215 grams.
Oh, that's a lot lighter than, for example, the Hope hub.
Yeah. So it is again not the lightest in the world, but it's light enough, and then it also does not have any of the use case limitations. So you can use that for enduro if you'd like. That is not a problem. As well as, light XC riding where the weight will still be quite good.
Could you use this hub for any other like straight pull spokes? Or does it have to be your spoke to,
right now in this version, because of the threads here, it has to be our spoke, but we will also soon, early next year, we'll do a version that just works with regular spokes.
Oh, okay. So customer friendly too.
What do you think? Am I allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, sure. Sure, why not?
If it's more of a podcast, what do you think about the, I will call it a fashion for degrees of engagement?
I'd rather have reliability more than high engagement or low engagement. I like the E13 though because it's pretty quiet. You don't hear anything from the drivetrain, which is cool. But then again, having a very loud drivetrain is cool too. I mean, not drivetrain.
And this one is quite clicky. This particular one because it's not greased, and we just use it to disassemble and to show the people. But once it's greased properly, it actually becomes rather quiet, and you can still hear it. But if you're riding the trails, it just gently fades into the background.
Yeah, I would have to try that.
We went with 60 teeth as a reasonably high amount without going into anything crazy. And
you could always mount an O-chain to your cranks if you want to have more, like pedal kickback reducing stuff. And it seems to have a very big bearing size, so that you wouldn't have any problems.
Oh, we didn't actually manage to mention that, but yes. So the bearings here are noticeably larger than what you have in regular hubs like DT Swiss, for example. So everywhere where we could, we put quite a big bearing in. Which also, helps. Of course, as wide as you could do in a hub as well for this stability and bearing load.
Okay. Is there center lock version 2 or only 6-bolt?
No, we currently only do 6-bolt, and right now we don't even have plans for center lock. And
would be
the 6-bolt is tried and true and works, and center lock would allow us to make the hub itself slightly lighter, but then it is immediately compensated by more material on the brake disc. So 6-bolt actually ends up being a little bit lighter.
In the entire system.
Yes, in the entire system, because that's also an important part that we feel like people miss sometimes. The important thing is the weight of the entire system and not just saving weight on your one part. Another example with the crankset, everyone always pays attention to the weight of the crankset, but what about the weight of the chainring? It's part of the system, you can say. And for these cranks, for the ones we make, we designed an ultra lightweight chainring that's lighter than most others on the market. So if you take the full system weight into the account, then we end up even lighter. And again, the power meters are a similar thing. For this crankset, we have an option of like crank arm based power meter.
They're like the stages?
Like the stages, but it's a Polish company doing it. There are friends in Peak.
They look almost the same as stages.
The crank arm based power meter is like 10 to 15 grams. And so if you look at the entire system weight, we looked at our crankset with our chainring, with this power meter, versus, for example, a SRAM red crankset with the big plastic power meter, with the big heavy chainring, we actually end up lighter, even though the crank arms are 70 grams lighter than us. But if you look at the whole system weight, then it's a different story.
See, we're talking about weight again.
Oh my god. Okay.
Always the same.
Enough about the weight.
Let's talk about the derailleur. I think that's the most interesting part.
Seems to be generating quite a bit of interest among people.
You've probably gotten many emails requesting some sort
of...
Oh
yeah, we get emails all the time. When is it coming out? Can you give me more details? And it's very cool that people write to us directly, but once we have something to share, we will of course share it publicly.
Okay, so what do we have to share for now?
For now, not that much. Even the prototype that you saw at Bespoke, it's already disassembled for continuing the work.
Yeah.
But the important bits are, it's going to be electronic, fully wireless, quite lightweight, with this CNC look that you saw at Bespoke, customizable with colors, of course, and programmable through the app.
That's the most important.
Yes, this is the interesting bit. Because we can program it, we can make it work with essentially any cassette on the market, be it 9-speed, 10-speed, or 13-speed if you wish. And this is what we want to do. We want to make this derailleur to be something quite universal, that if you buy, you can own it for a long time. You know that you can, switch it to a different bike and be fine, and
You just said universal, but it's not going to be UDH compatible. Like direct mounts. I mean, UDH, but direct mounts. Are there any plans to do that?
We don't have plans to do it to make a direct mount because of obviously like the patent issues. But through the hanger, you could mount it to a UDH frame. Okay.
Do you have any rough estimate on how much it costs or will cost? That's I guess the most interesting.
Yes, like with all our parts, it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be reasonably priced for what it is. So I would expect a few €100, meaning like 500, 600, something like this is the range we're aiming at right now.
Yeah, so basically on par with all the other electric options out there.
Yes, with all the like higher level electric options. Yes.
Programmable, each gear by itself, which is the UD upselling point. Yeah.
And if you saw the drivetrains we brought to Bespoke, where you had our cranks, chainrings, cassettes, and other manufacturers' derailleurs with our cages. So this is the only part we're missing to finally say you can have a full Garbaruk drivetrain,
which is very cool. And then you start doing handlebars and frames, maybe sometimes later, I don't know, in 5-10 years. And then you have a Garbaruk bike, with everything except for the bearings. You have Garbaruk wheels.
Yeah, maybe in some time. We certainly have no such plans now. But if you look about it, we are kind of making every part of the bike step by step, starting with drivetrain. And would be really nice to see a full Garbaruk bike, and that's focused on performance with its unique look.
That would be nice too.
That would be nice, but I feel like it's too early to even start waiting for that or dreaming of that.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm satisfied with the parts already, so that's good. And there are a lot of good frames out there too. Are we going to be able to show something of it, like disassembled?
I mean, I think we can show this half.
And
the other half, let me have a look at it. Oh, it's empty inside, so I think it's fine. But we are missing quite a big part in the middle here to have it to show you the full one. But
yeah, I have a picture of it from this.
Sorry, that's supposed to go like that. Yeah, and we're missing something here.
Is it a? Oh yeah, it's a different way of mounting.
I mean, this is a prototype way of installing the battery for us to quickly experiment with it, but I think the final version will also look quite different. Because
I like the feel of it.
If I remember correctly, this is also SRAM. with the patents.
Okay, so you're not allowed to use it.
Yes, so I think the production one will have to look different, unless we, find a way to have it similar but sufficiently different enough.
But I like the springy part here. You can keep
It is
that.
quite nice.
It's better than the one you have
It's
to...
enjoyable, right? It's one of those nice things that you just want to click when you.
And you could probably mount you can actually mount the battery, click it in without having to, like in SRAM, you have to push it down to make it
here it just happens,
Yeah, and it feels a lot better. And they probably they probably have a patent on it as well. And that's basically it, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we could go on and on about the weight and.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. That's why my videos are so long. We keep talking about things, and then it's just some sort of passion, I mean, it's difficult for companies to present themselves in the way, that the passion comes. You can see the passion in the videos, but I guess we can see it here because it's.
Thanks. I'm glad.
It's so like talking to some. I went to the Bespoke and talked to people, and my son got bored of being there because I kept talking. We could probably talk about your parts for I don't know,
there's
the
a lot
entire day.
to say, but I'm trying to keep it short here.
Yeah, but it's going to be a very long video. So
okay,
cool.
So I guess thank you very much for coming to visit us.
Thanks for
having
me.
It was a pleasure meeting you in person again.
And then I'm probably gonna ask you about testing stuff too. Like many people probably do. How many emails do you get a day? I'm pretty sure it's a day of people asking for some sort of prototype derailleur for testing or wheelset or whatnot.
I mean, for derailleur, not daily, but every time it pops up on social media somewhere, of course, an email comes saying, hey, when can I try to write that? Can I be your test rider? And all that.
I'm a big influencer on YouTube, and I have, I don't know, how many subscribers can I test ride it like I did? I did.
Yeah.
I asked that same question.
That's okay.
Not because of I want to get something for free, but it's really interesting for me to test stuff. And if you have a derailleur that stands out from the mass, which it does, not only because of the color, but also the features it has, I actually now know it's sort of like I want to test it because it's so cool. More for me than presenting it on social media. Yeah. Anyways.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. I'm gonna be back. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, and thanks for everything. It was so cool. And yeah, thanks.
Till next time.
Das war also der Firmenbesuch bei Garbaruk. Ich muss ehrlich sagen, ich bin überrascht, wie viel das doch ist. Also das ganze Gebäude haben sie vor dem Umzug gekauft. Also sie sind vor einem Jahr hierher gezogen, hat er mir gerade noch erzählt. Und es ist schon ganz schön fett. Besonders wenn man dann bedenkt, dass es draußen nirgendwo dran steht, dass eben hier Garbaruk drin ist und dass so viel produziert wird. Ich habe viel Spaß gehabt. Ich hoffe, ihr hattet es auch. Und ja, jetzt fahre ich ungefähr 400 Kilometer zur nächsten Firma. Aber dazu gibt es ja ein späteres Video. Bis dahin, ciao.